Morning, it's 9:39. Going to be a very hot, humid, muggy day today with heat advisories going into effect at noon, basically, but it's already hot and uncomfortable out there. Looking at a calendar, my calendar of events, I just happened to notice that this day here, this first Monday in July, is Made in the USA Day. And when I started to look around for a little bit more on what Made in the USA Day was all about, I came across a story about a film that's being made. And it's, I don't know when the release date is. I know that they haven't released the trailer yet. But the filmmakers, it's a group of young men, including Josh Miller, are setting out to sort of tell the story of products made in the USA, to find out if made in the USA really means anything anymore. And Josh joins me on the air this morning here on Made in the USA Day. Hi, Josh. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Did you know that this was? Have you ever heard of this before? Made in the USA Day.
I'll be honest with you. I as much as I've been around the country, I was not aware that today was Made in the USA Day. How ironic is that?
Yeah.
But I'm glad, and maybe that should have been the date we should have released the trailer. But we're actually going to release our trailer on July 4th, so I think that's a pretty good date.
I think that's fairly significant. Yeah. Tell me about this film and where the idea comes from.
Well, okay, to start off what the film is about, I decided one day, we had some plant closures in our area in Ravenswood, West Virginia, cost over 650 jobs. I mean, it really hurt our town. And just kind of everything came about. It was like the same week I started looking at stuff, and I realized that I couldn't find anything made in the USA. The combination of a lot of these jobs being lost and then, the events of me, not finding a lot of stuff made in the USA. I called up a friend and I said, what would you think if I tried to live off products only made in the USA for 30 days? And they said, well, I think that's a brilliant idea. And we raised the funds. I raised the funds myself online and had a few investors. And we just went out and we traveled the country to find out if Made in the USA really means anything anymore to people. And we interviewed businesses that make products here. We had a chance to interview a few politicians, some historians, kind of about the history of Made in the USA. It was just a fantastic trip, and to give people a little insight into the film. I know the trailer's not out yet, but it kind of evolved into a much different story than I anticipated. Because obviously, I tried to live off products only made in the USA for 30 days, and I will say that it was difficult, but it's not necessarily impossible. And like I said, the story did go in a much different direction. I'm very excited about it, and I think it's going to be a very heartfelt film, and it's going to get to the heart of America.
Okay, and this is not we should stress this, because I think in the trailer that I watched, I know that, we're kind of embargoed on that here for the time being, but in that trailer, you mentioned this is not being done for the Democrats, it's not being done for the Republicans, it's being done for just Americans and for business in general. This idea of businesses and closing down and things going offshore, this is not new. This is not, in the last 4 years, in the last 8 years, the last 12 years or 20 years. This has been a very gradual, ongoing thing, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, and it's very sad. And, I think what's going to make this film so effective is exactly what you said. It's been going on for so long, and I think everybody knows someone that's been affected by such an event, a plant closure, a moving overseas, outsourcing. But when you talk about Democrats and Republicans, I thought that this would be an ineffective film if we started to try to play political games. Because to me, Made in America and protecting our economic security and national security in general is much more important than a political party. And I think that this is one issue that Americans can come together on. And it really means a lot to me, because I've been through the struggles, with family members losing jobs and things of that nature. So this is something that we can rise above, and I don't see Made in America as a Democrat or Republican thing.
You talk about how you set out driving, across America, looking for ways and products and things that you could utilize to live off of products made in the USA. Can I ask, just out of curiosity, what kind of a vehicle you were driving?
Actually in the film, there are some exceptions that have to be made. There are no 100% vehicles, USA vehicles here. I asked when I rented vehicles, I asked for like Ford or Chevy or anything like that. But that raised a whole new question, because then you start talking about what is made in the USA mean, because you have the argument that Ford imports a lot of their parts and makes things here, but Toyota, their base camps overseas, but they employ a lot of people here in this country. And there's actually a town right outside of Charleston, West Virginia, Buffalo, West Virginia, and they have hundreds of employees at the Toyota plant. So we kind of address a lot of issues in this film. What is made in America? What is made in the USA? What does that mean? How do you define it? And I think that that's why this film will be effective, because I hope it gives people a clear picture. And, the other thing I found when I was traveling is people want to know how they can help. Sometimes they just, if you mention Made in the USA, they go, I never really thought about that before. And I'm giving you little bits and pieces of the film without giving too much away. But we go through a lot of issues here that goes beyond just if I can live off products made in the USA for 30 days. And I think it turned out to be a more effective film that way.
And this is not germane to your part of the country either in West Virginia. This is across the country. This is nationwide we're experiencing this.
Oh, of course. I mean, jobs have continued, especially manufacturing jobs. And I try not to focus solely on manufacturing with this film, but it is a vital part of the American economy. I think to have a strong manufacturing base is a stronger country, because when we're making our own things, we're not dependent upon other people to get us our stuff and, our products. And
Josh, can I ask a question? And I'm sorry here, because I'm being mindful of the clock, too.
Okay.
But with the idea of products being made, outsourced, and manufacturing being, sent away, everything from the blue jeans that we wear, that were all part of, the American heritage, the fiber of America, as they say. But that's because as Americans, we all want to pay less for things. And isn't that a critical aspect of the situation? We're looking for a better deal on something. And the cost of manufacturing, they say, and this becomes kind of the chicken and the egg thing. Did the cost of manufacturing go up because there was less and less of it being done here? Or what's the story behind that? How much of that is a part of the film?
Oh, I mean, I'm telling you, it's vital, and that's the issue that always comes up is price. There is a lot of places out there now that I think are very competitive. I mean, one example is All American Clothing Company. That's a place in Arcanum, Ohio. I compare them the American version of American Eagle, and they make almost everything here. And you're right. The price is an issue. That's just something that always comes up. But I think it's a complex situation, and obviously we will address it in the film. But I just think that we need to be mindful of what we're doing. This film is not meant to shut off trade from the world. I just always think that America is a family, and we try to help the world to the best of our ability. But like I said, America is a family, and you've got to have a strong family base before you can help anybody else. And to me, the manufacturing base, the creativeness, and the innovation that we bring here in America, I think that that's worth fighting for. Now, in terms of price, there are things that we need to do, whether it's, talk to our government to say, speak up and say, listen, we need to create an environment, the best environment as possible, so we can bring these jobs back. But there are a lot of complex situations. People do want sales. They always look for sales. And price has always been an issue, and we just have to find a way to address that. One of my quote for the film is, we're willing to die for our country, but are we willing to buy for it? That's actually the promotional poster. And I think that people just need to think about that. I mean, it is a complex issue, but we're all in this together, and we have to find a solution because, our future is at stake. It's not getting any easier right now. People are still losing jobs.
Well, Josh, I got to ask this question here now. The film comes out when?
We are in post-production right now. I'll give you we want to have this out before the end of the year, but we're in some talks right now and post-production and some distribution. I hope that this can have a limited theatrical release, but, we're also just talking with some networks as well. So we still have an uncertain date, but we are in negotiations. We're talking, and we're currently in post-production. It just takes a while.
Well, I'm going to say, I'll see if I can share the trailer when it's made available. I can just access it, right? And can I put it on as of 4th of July, can I put it on my Facebook page, or can we put it on the WCCO page here?
You sure can. Spread the word. That's what this film's all about, getting America together and standing strong, unity.
All right, Josh, best of luck. We'll check in again with you when you get closer. And you keep our number handy, too, so that we can communicate coming up here, all right?
I sure will. Thank you for having me on.
All right, take care. It sounds like an interesting premise, interesting prospect. Josh Miller, and the film is called Made in the USA, The 30-Day Journey. Dwayne, you had a question. What was your question about?
Well, I just wanted to comment, with all due respect, he did tap dance around your question about what kind of a car was he driving.
Oh, I'm sorry, he didn't really. He said they tried to, whenever possible, rent like a Ford or a Chevrolet, because they were using rental agencies as they were working their way across the country.
Yeah, I heard that, but I never heard a direct answer.
Well, okay, but I don't know what that was the direct answer. Whenever possible, They would try to. Because here's the question: because he recognizes that no part of any Ford, Chevy, or any car that we're driving is actually all made in the USA. They were acknowledging that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, it is a mixed-up thing here, isn't it? And then another texter asked this question. What's the difference between made in the USA and assembled in the USA? If it's a matter of jobs, we still would like to see it at least, assembled in the USA, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know, Dwayne, but I thought he kind of did answer the question, that they were doing whatever they could to drive an American-made vehicle, but recognizing the fact that it's not really completely American-made.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Hey, keep in touch, Dwayne.
All right.
Coming up next here, buying in America. We're going to see if we can get this in before the top of the hour here, but I want you to listen to this, because there is a way that you can actually, there's a website called keepamerica.com. And we're going to talk with the CEO from that site next year on WCCO. Check this out. There is a way, if you would like to, buy American. There's a website called keepamerica.com, and David Selektar is the founder and the CEO of that. Hey, David, good morning. How you doing?
Excellent. How are you? Good morning.
Good. I've only got a couple of minutes here, but let me ask you about this. If people want to go to keepamerica.com, by the way, this is just, you're sort of a link to all these places where we can buy American. Is that right?
Right. We're more of a platform for all manufacturers across the country, no matter how small, no matter how big. To have a voice and to have somewhere they can showcase their goods. As you know, it's very difficult to find American-made products these days. Everything out there is made in China and every other place around the world. We want to give them, one place, one spot for the seller as well as the consumer to come together and buy American.
Okay, and it's called keepamerica.com. Do we pay any more for using your site or anything?
Not at all. Not at all. You actually get a better deal on our site because we have a feature called Deal of the Week.
Oh, okay.
Where we have 15 categories, and we discount things once a week in every category, an item per week.
All right, now let me mention some of the. I've only got a limited amount of time here, so David, let me mention a couple of the categories, like apparel. If people want to buy clothing that's made in America, pet products, automotive, hardware, outdoor. You know what I don't see? Electronics. Is there any electronics still made in America?
It's sad to say that category has become non-existent. The good news is we've done a lot of hard work, and we found a couple of things. We're putting on the site very shortly. We do have a few generators on there. We have other smaller things. We'll be launching shortly and unveiling TVs assembled in the USA, as well as other smaller electronics as well. But I got to tell you, it's sad to say everything these days in electronics is made overseas.
Yeah. But again, it goes to the cost of it. Your TV and my TV and what we're willing to pay for them, right?
Well, I got to tell you, this new company coming out that we're going to be unveiling shortly, like I said, they've managed to match the prices of the overseas competitors. And again, with our site, with the Deal of the Week, we've managed to compete with outsourced pricing. All
right, listen, again, I appreciate your time. I just want to let people know about this. It's called keepamerica.com. We're going to look at it coming up here in the next hour, as a matter of fact. Take a look at a couple of the different products and invite listeners to participate and find out just how important that is to them. So, David, hey, thanks a ton, and good luck with the site going forward.
Well, thank you. Have a happy 4th of July and all the best.
All right, take care. Do you buy American? Do you look for it? Does it even part of your thought process? That's next on WCCO.